Welcome back to the coin world, where we uncover the incredible stories and hidden fortunes behind some of the world's most fascinating coins. Imagine having a small piece of copper in your hand, something you might overlook as just another old penny. But what if I told you that this little coin could completely change your life? That's right. Today we're diving deep into the world of the 1936 Liberty Wheat Penny, a coin with such an intriguing history and surprising value that it might just turn the tables for you. Stick around until the end, because you'll discover not only how valuable this coin is, but also the secret of how you can actually sell it if you have one. The 1936 Wheat Penny is more than just an old coin. It's a historical witness from the Great Depression era. In the mid-1930s, America was recovering from one of its darkest financial periods. Jobs were scarce, people were struggling to make ends meet, and yet the U.S. Mint was still producing coins that carried not only value, but also symbols of hope. On the obverse of the 1936 penny, we find the image of Abraham Lincoln, the president remembered for holding the Union together and abolishing slavery. His portrait wasn't chosen by chance. It symbolized resilience and strength during times of hardship. On the reverse, you'll notice the classic wheat ears framing the words, 1 cent. This design by Victor David Brenner wasn't just about aesthetics. The wheat symbolized prosperity, nourishment, and the promise of a better tomorrow. For millions of Americans living in rural communities and working in agriculture, that design connected directly with their daily lives. Holding that penny was a reminder of hope, even when times were tough. In 1936, 3 different U.S. mints produced these pennies: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark tells its own story. The Philadelphia Mint produced the highest numbers, which means the no mint mark 1936 pennies are the most common. Denver pennies carry a small D beneath the date, while San Francisco's coins show an S. Although millions were struck, certain variations and conditions make them extremely valuable today. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1936 wheat penny is the variety known as the doubled die. Some pennies from that year were struck with a die that created a doubling effect on the date and lettering. Collectors prize these errors because they are rare, and when they appear in high grades, their value skyrockets at auctions. Now let's talk about grading. The condition of a coin determines so much about its worth. A circulated 1936 penny might only fetch a few cents, but in higher grades, especially mint state examples with sharp details and little to no wear, the value can rise dramatically. Coins with original red luster and touched by time are the most desirable among collectors. What makes this coin even more exciting is its market activity. Online platforms like eBay frequently list 1936 wheat pennies, and depending on their condition, prices range from just a couple of dollars to several thousand for rare varieties. Auction houses have seen stunning results, where pristine examples have been sold to eager collectors at impressive prices. But the real charm lies in the unexpected. Many people discover 1936 wheat pennies in old coin jars, inherited collections, or even while sorting through pocket change. Imagine the thrill of realizing that the little coin you've overlooked for years could actually be worth far more than you ever thought possible. This coin is also a piece of art. Brenner's design is iconic, lasting decades before the wheat design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. That means the 1936 penny sits squarely in the golden era of wheat cents, cherished for their historical significance and design beauty. Collectors love these coins not just for their monetary value, but because they connect us to history. Holding a 1936 penny is like shaking hands with the past, a direct link to a time when America was struggling, persevering, and eventually rising again. Every scratch, every tone of color, every imperfection tells a story. Some pennies may have been passed hand to hand during a family's grocery shopping trip in 1936. Others might have been tucked away in a war bond savings jar just a few years later as the country prepared for World War II. That's what makes coins like these so magical. Now here's the part that really matters. If you own a 1936 wheat penny, you could be sitting on something special. And like I said earlier, it might just turn the tables for you. You might be wondering exactly how much yours is worth and how to sell it. This is where things get exciting. I want you to comment the word price down in the comment section, and I'll personally respond to let you know the value of your 1936 wheat penny and guide you through the exact steps of how you can sell it, whether it's through eBay, an auction house, or a trusted coin dealer. I'll make sure you know the best way to get the most for your coin. The fascinating story of the Liberty 5-cent coin from 1984. Now let me tell you this right at the start. If you own this coin, it might just turn the tables for you. So stick around until the end, because I will reveal its real worth according to eBay, auction houses, and other online platforms, and more importantly, how you can sell it. But at the very end, instead of giving away every detail here, I will ask you to comment price in the comment box, and I will personally guide you with the latest value and the exact selling procedure. The Liberty 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the Jefferson nickel in 1984, has a history rooted in American tradition and post-war identity. Introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, it featured the image of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. This design carried on for decades, becoming one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. By 1984, the Jefferson nickel had already been a familiar sight for nearly half a century, making it not only a circulating coin but also a piece of cultural continuity. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, the obverse features the iconic portrait of Jefferson. The reverse shows Monticello, his Virginia estate, a structure that represents Jefferson's vision of architecture, learning, and personal legacy. In 1984, the design was unchanged, but the condition and mending details of the coin gave it unique collectible appeal. The 1984 Jefferson nickel was struck at multiple mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark. Denver coins are marked with a D, and San Francisco produced proof issues with the S mint mark. While most of these nickels were produced in massive numbers for circulation, the proof strikes from San Francisco, with their mirror-like surfaces, are especially valued among collectors. What makes the 1984 nickel particularly interesting are the errors and varieties that emerged during its production. Collectors pay close attention to doubled die obverses, repunched mint marks, and even off-center strikes. These errors, though unintended by the U.S. Mint, add significant value to coins that otherwise would be worth only face value. The historical importance of the Jefferson nickel series cannot be overstated. It represents stability during an era of change in American coinage. By 1984, other denominations like the penny had already undergone shifts in composition, moving from copper to copper-plated zinc, but the nickel retained its original 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy. This continuity gave the coin a reassuring familiarity to the American public, one of those coins that might just turn the tables for you. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but when you understand its history and what collectors are paying for it today, you'll realize why this little piece of copper is far more valuable than it appears. Stick around until the end of this video, because we'll uncover not only its history but also what it's worth today, and how you can actually sell it. The Liberty Wheat Penny, also known as the Lincoln Wheat Cent, has a legendary place in American coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909, it was created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The wheat ears on the reverse symbolized prosperity, growth, and the strength of America during the early 20th century. By 1954, the coin had already been in circulation for 45 years, making it both a familiar everyday coin and a piece of long-running history. The year 1954 itself was an interesting time in American history. The United States was recovering from the aftermath of World War II. The Cold War tensions were rising, and everyday Americans were experiencing the economic boom of the 1950s. In that climate, the 1954 wheat penny continued its role as a common coin in the hands of workers, children, and business owners alike. Minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the 1954 wheat penny exists in different varieties. The Philadelphia mint coins carry no mint mark. The Denver coins carry a small D under the date, and the San Francisco coins carry an S. While millions were minted, not all of them survived in pristine condition, and that is where their value begins to rise today. On the obverse, we find the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln. His image represents freedom, leadership, and unity. On the reverse, the twin stalks of wheat flank the words 1 cent, and at the bottom, United States of America. These simple design elements connect the coin directly to America's agricultural roots and national pride. From a composition standpoint, the 1954 wheat penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This copper base gives the coin a rich reddish-brown tone when uncirculated, but over time, Many circulated pieces have taken on darker hues, sometimes with unique patinas that collectors find attractive. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 71 million wheat pennies in 1954, while Denver minted more than 250 million, and San Francisco struck around 96 million. Because of these high mintages, circulated examples are still relatively easy to find, but in uncirculated condition, or with certain striking errors, the 1954 wheat penny becomes much more desirable. Error coins from 1954 are especially sought after. Double die errors, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can turn an otherwise common coin into one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Collectors love these imperfections. We take a closer look at a coin that might appear common at first glance but could actually carry a hidden story and unexpected value. Imagine discovering a simple 5-cent piece that has been in circulation for decades and realizing it could change the way you think about pocket change. If you happen to own a Liberty 5-cent coin from 1990, it might just turn the tables for you. So stick around until the end of this video, because not only will we uncover its rich history and details, but I will also reveal how collectors on eBay and major auction platforms value this coin today. And most importantly, I will show you how you can sell one if you are lucky enough to own it. The 1990 Liberty 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the Jefferson nickel, is a fascinating piece of American coinage that carries forward a long legacy. The Jefferson nickel design was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it has remained a cornerstone of U.S. currency for decades. By 1990, the design had already been in use for over 50 years, making it a familiar sight to Americans everywhere. Yet it still retained the respect of collectors who recognized its historical continuity. On the obverse of the coin, you find the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. His likeness, facing left, symbolizes the nation's commitment to democracy, independence, and innovation. The reverse of the coin proudly displays Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, an architectural masterpiece and symbol of his vision for a young and thriving nation. What makes the 1990 nickel especially interesting is that it belongs to a period when the U.S. Mint was producing coins in very large numbers to meet circulation demands. That means many were struck, but condition and striking quality varied. Collectors today value sharp, clean strikes, especially coins that show Jefferson's features and Monticello's details with clarity and depth. The coin was minted into primary locations, Philadelphia and Denver, marked with either no mint mark or a small D on the coin. Proof versions were also made in San Francisco, featuring mirrored fields and frosted designs intended for collectors. These proof coins, when preserved in pristine condition, are among the most desirable to numismatists. It carries a hidden story that might just change the way you see the money in your pocket. Imagine this for a moment. You pick up a penny that looks old, worn, and ordinary. It's dated 1952, and without a second thought, you might toss it aside as just 1 cent. But what if I told you that this very coin, the 1952 Liberty wheat penny, could turn the tables for you? That's right. Behind its humble face value lies a long history, fascinating details, and a potential market worth that could surprise you. Stick with me until the end of this video, because that's where I'll reveal how much this coin is worth according to eBay, online platforms, and auctions. And I'll also tell you how you can sell it if you're lucky enough to own one. The 1952 Liberty wheat penny belongs to one of the most iconic coin series in American history. The wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For the first time in U.S. coinage history, the face of a real person, Lincoln himself, was placed on a circulating coin. It was a bold move and instantly captured the hearts of Americans. The wheat ears on the reverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, symbolized prosperity and growth, and together with Lincoln's portrait, the coin became both a tribute and a national statement. The time 1952 rolled around, the wheat penny had already been in circulation for decades. America was in the midst of post-World War prosperity, but also in the early stages of the Cold War. Every day, life was shifting, industries were booming, and coins like the 1952 wheat penny were circulating in the hands of families across the nation. The coin was struck in bronze, consisting of 95% copper and small amounts of tin and zinc. This rich copper composition is one of the reasons collectors love these coins so much. Over time, The copper develops a natural patina and in some cases mint state coins shine with an incredible red luster that collectors are always chasing. The Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint all produced the 1952 wheat penny. The ones from Philadelphia carry no mint mark while Denver coins are marked with a D and San Francisco coins with an S. Each mint had large outputs, but the condition of surviving coins makes all the difference today. At first glance you might think the 1952 penny is common, but scarcity comes into play. When you look for higher grades, circulated examples are everywhere, but coins in pristine uncirculated condition, especially those graded MS65 or higher, are far less common. These are the coins that truly stand out in the marketplace. Another fascinating point is that the 1952 wheat penny falls within the later years of the series, just 7 years before the reverse design would change to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. This makes the coin part of the final chapter of the beloved wheat design, which adds historical weight for collectors. The 1945 wheat penny is more than just a coin. It is a tangible link to one of the most important years in modern history. 1945 was the year World War II came to an end. Soldiers were returning home, the world was celebrating victory, and economies were starting to rebuild. Every coin minted in that year carries the memory of a world transitioning from war to peace. When you hold a 1945 penny, you're holding a piece of history that witnessed this incredible turning point. On the obverse, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln remains a strong symbol of unity and perseverance. His image had already been on the penny since 1909, but in 1945, his face represented more than just history. It symbolized resilience during wartime and the hope of a new beginning as peace was finally restored. On the reverse, the wheat stalks stand tall, enclosing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This, designed by Victor David Brenner, had already become iconic, representing growth and prosperity. In 1945, those wheat years carried even greater meaning. They symbolized the breadbasket of America, feeding not only its people but also its soldiers and allies during one of the most challenging times in history. The U.S. Mint struck the 1945 penny in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark. Denver's have a D, and San Francisco's show an S below the date. While millions were produced, condition, rarity of surviving examples, and certain errors make some of these coins extremely valuable today. Collectors especially look for mint state examples with sharp detail and original red luster. Coins that were carefully preserved and never circulated can fetch premium prices. On the other hand, circulated examples are common, but even those can be worth more than face value depending on grade and demand. An exciting twist is that some 1945 pennies show minting errors like off-center, strikes, or die cracks. These mistakes increase collector interest, and when listed on platforms like eBay or sold through coin auctions, error coins can bring in surprising amounts of money. Now, let's talk about the market. On eBay, you'll often see 1945 wheat pennies selling anywhere from a couple of dollars for circulated examples to hundreds or even thousands for high-grade certified coins or rare errors. Auction houses have recorded even higher sales when a pristine red gem comes under the hammer. Collectors know these are not just coins but historical treasures, and they compete fiercely to own the finest examples. Beyond value, what makes the 1945 penny so special is the connection to history. Every single one of these coins was struck in a year when the world changed forever. Some of them may have traveled in the pockets of soldiers returning from Europe or the Pacific. Others may have been used by families celebrating the end of wartime rationing. Each coin has a story, and that story adds to its significance.